G'day mates, Ordinary Average Guy here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at this little guy right here. This is the Kershaw Mini Copper Matrix. So, this is a design based off of a ZT model. ZT is the sort of the higher end, made in America versions of Kershaw. Kershaw is made in China, but it's the same company, the Kai Corporation. And there's a really cool knife that they make, the ZT line makes. It's called the 0770. And all the knives in the ZT line are numbered, not named. But the 0770, I've had my eye on it for a long time. This came out, it's almost a $200 knife though. This one came out $60 on Blade HQ, copper handle, D2 blade, and it's the miniature version of it. And I do like smaller knives for EDC, which is what I would be using this knife for. And I thought I'd check it out, and I was actually very, very impressed. So let's talk about it. Talk about some things, that I liked, and there's some things I think, you might want to think about before purchasing it. But let's dig into this. So. This is the mini version of the Natrix. They do have a full-size Natrix, which is 3.25 inches long. This one is 2.75-inch blade, sorry. And it's about 6.5 inches long total. So it's the miniature version of the knife. Here it is next to another D2 version of a cheaper brand of knives, CRKT. You can see it right here next to a Polar. And then this is, I think, a very similar knife, something that's very popular, and I think you can get a good idea of what this knife size is. There you go. That's the mini grip. There you go. Can't speak. Mini grip by Benchmade. So a very similar knife to that one in size and shape, really. It's this specific one comes in a couple different versions. There's one that's a G10 handle. I think it has a D2 blade as well that you can get. Definitely has the 8CR13 MOV models, but there you go. This guy's running on the KVT ball bearing system, which is pretty cool. A lot of these cheaper Kershaws run on what's it called, the assisted open, but this one runs on a KVT bearing system, and it's actually, I've opened it up and checked it out. It's actually sitting in a phosphor bronze casing, which is sort of different from a lot of the KVT systems. KVT is the Kershaw velocity system. It's just basically a caged bearing, which is opposed to like the CRKT IKBS system, which is kind of loose bearings inside of inside of the washer itself, which is, can cause all sorts of nightmares. But this is actually, as you can see down inside here, is actually sitting in a bronze casing. Pretty cool. Pretty impressive for a little $60 knife from Kershaw. It's got a 3-position deep carry pocket clip here, smaller pocket clip. I dig these smaller pocket clips, kind of like this is the bug out pocket clip, which I put on my mini grip here. Really cool little pocket clip, very similar to that. It's got some good spring, and it's a very deep carry, as you can see. I mean, this thing is all that's sticking up inside of your pocket is clip, so it disappears into the pocket. I just like how small the clip is. I don't really mind the Kershaw here. At least it doesn't say zero tolerance, I guess. But anyway, there you go. Great action on it. Fantastic action. I'm really impressed with this KVT system. Really impressed with the action on this thing. Great detent, and just flies out of there, as you can see. Really cool knife. Really hard not to deploy. You can do the push button, sort of the light switch flicky thing, and really good action. Really smooth. Like I said, I'm sorry, let me finish the pocket clip. There's 3 positions on this thing. So on the left-handed, you can carry it deep, really deep carry like that. On this side, you can carry it down here for a less deep carry, and then, for the right hand, and then you can also carry it up here. Both tip down, but it gives you 2 options for righty. Why didn't you make it 2 options for lefty, huh? You got a problem with lefties, Kershaw? Huh? Lefty knives matter, all right? Hashtag. Anyway. I'm just kidding. Thank you for making at least 1 option for lefties. We do appreciate that. let's see here. The one thing I didn't really like about this clip is the recess screws. Recess screws do two things, right? First of all, they get out of the way when you're putting it in your pocket. Obviously, they don't catch on the top of the pocket, and they also hold the clip exactly where it's supposed to be. So when the screws recessed, it actually goes down into the hole and then holds the clip exactly into place where it's supposed to be. Because these screws aren't recessed, I had to literally hold it here, get them just tightened down, get it right into place, hold it, and then if the screws are recessed, you don't have to do all that crap. It just puts it right into place where it's supposed to be. So, I just wish they were recessed on that. I don't know why companies aren't doing recessed screws. Even Benchmade. Benchmade is a little higher end than Kershaw, and you can see no recessed screws. Recess the screws, guys. Even this ZT, no recessed. Bugs the shit out of me. Anyway, so no recessed screws. Wish they were. Love this blade shape though, guys. Every day I walk in, there's a sports store right near me, and they have the ZT0770 on display. And every day I go in there and I look at it and I go, oh man, $200, and I go, God damn it. And I walk out of there and I don't buy it, but just because I love this blade shape, really love this blade shape. And I was really happy when they came out with a higher end budget option of it with the D2 steel. So love D2 steel, guys. I think it's the best of the budget steels. I guess 154 CM's now a budget steel. I'm not sure. It's really hard to keep up. People are really Nazis about their blade steel these days. I find D2 to be great, even though this is Chinese D2. I think that the D2 blade steel options that they've been putting out on these budget lines are great, like this CRKT model right here. Which congratulations to Birdman Duncan, you won this thing. I'm sending it off to you this week. Don't worry. I think it's a great little budget steel, great blade shape. Love you can see it's almost recurved right there at the end, which makes it really nice for sort of cutting like this style of cut right here. For opening boxes, or if you need to cut, some foam or something, it makes it really, really nice for those kind of cuts. And it did come really sharp. So love the blade shape on it. They call this a drop point. Guys, this ain't a drop point, all right? This is like a sheep's foot, would you say? I mean, this is really a sheep's foot here. But you can see, like, this blade shape is a sheep's foot, and I think this is a sheep's foot too. Call me crazy. Sucker for a sheep's foot, as you all know. So there we go. Great blade shape. Really good budget blade steel. We're just really happy with it. Nice thin stock too, as you can see. Really high grind. The grind comes all the way up to this blood groove here. And it's a really nice high grind on this thing. I think they did a good job with it. Really like the handle shape on this thing too, guys. It's for a smaller knife. It fits really well in the hand. I like this sort of shape on it. I've got sort of medium-sized hands, and it's almost touches my pinky there. But it fits really well in there. So I just took this thing apart and it's not locking back up. So there it goes. Ugh. I got to work on that. Anyway, so here is so I took this thing apart to check out the KVT system, and now the lock bar is not locking up properly. So, that's why I don't take my knives apart that often. Anyway, there it is. Okay, so as you can see, this is a cool little lock bar that they have on here. So obviously, they're not going to make the lock bar out of copper, which is what this handle material is. So it's like a bead wash stainless steel copper. I really like how it pops against the sort of the hardware on this thing, and sort of the bead blast stone wash blade. But so what it is, it's a what do they call it? It's a subframe lock. So there's like a piece of metal that comes in up here and holds it into the handle here, and makes it for a much sturdier frame lock than a copper frame would be. So copper frame lock would be, I should say. So there you go. It locks up pretty well, even though it was locking up better before I took it apart. I'm gonna have to check it out, see what I did wrong there, but it still locks up pretty well. I just like the way that subframe lock looks with this, with this copper handle. So, that's sort of one of my biggest gripes though about this knife is just how rounded off everything is. I'd like to see a little more square. I think that if this edge was flatter, it would lock up better. You know, they just sort of kind of round everything off instead of squaring it to where it would fit tighter tolerances against the blade. You know, it's sort of my biggest gripe with this thing. The fit and finish isn't fantastic. I mean, it's still pretty good for a $60 knife, but still, I mean, it could be better. And, you know, when you're looking at the, you know, especially that sub frame lock there where it's all rounded off there, and I just think if it was flatter, it would fit better, you know, with better tolerance up against the tang and the blade there. It does have an over travel lock on it though. It's an over travel. So basically this subframe lock fits in there and it's got a little lip underneath the copper there and it stops it from over traveling, which is nice. So, you know, a lot of the older Kershaw's frame locks don't have an over travel, which this does. So that's nice. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about blood grooves? You can tell me. Obviously I'm not going to be gutting any animals with a copper knife. It's just going to be too slick. So, I mean, and I'm not going to be shanking anybody with this thing because I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. So, I don't know exactly why the blood groove's there. I like it for one reason, and I'm going to tell you what that is. If I'm in a corporate setting and I don't want to flick my knife out, which can be a little intimidating sometimes, it's very nice to have this option, especially with the nice detent on this thing of just being able to open it, you know, without having to flick it open, which a lot of these newer knives they don't have, and you kind of got to fumble with the, you know, against the slick blade. This one's nice. It's got the little blood groove, which is more like acts like a nail nick, so you can open it up. I don't know if that's the reason they put it on there, but you know, there you go. I'm not blown away by the sharpened bevel on this thing, sharpened edge. So you can see here, see what. This is specifically it. Look at the bottom right here on this side and then look at it on this side. You can see just how bigger it is on that side. And it's the opposite end of this side as well. You can see how nice and even it is all the way up here, right until it hits the end. So I think they did a good job. At least the grind's even in the middle. I think what happened is the guy that was sharpening it and he went like that. And he, you know, obviously on this side, he wasn't able to hold it as steady because it's the exact same on the other side. So it's the same spots on opposite sides. So, you know, I'm thinking he just, you know, when he came to that end, he turned it sideways because besides, that's a very even grind all the way up till right there and right there. So besides that, pretty impressed with the sharpened grind. Not blown away by this plastic backspacer. Now, these screws do set into each other. They go all the way through and screw into each other. So you're not screwed into that plastic backspacer there, obviously. But, you know, I wish they could have done something else. Maybe a little bit of steel, even anything, you know. I guess the plastic backspacer would, you know, save a little bit of weight. But, I mean, this thing's already pretty heavy for its size, which brings me into my next part. You know, this thing is 3.5 ounces for, you know, 6.5 inch knife. So, you know, not blown away by the weight, but you're buying a copper knife. This is copper. So, you know, you're trading a cool looking knife for weight. And that's what it is. It's just a cool looking knife. It's already starting to patina. You can see here, this is the side that's carrying against my pocket where you can see it's a little bit starting to darken up a little bit around the edges, and I can't wait to see what this thing looks like in about a year after carrying it and seeing how it patinas. But looking great so far, guys. Overall, look, for $60, if you wanted a 04770 and you don't want to spend $200 on a knife, I think this is a great little budget option. I think I love the design, I love the shape, and I think the fit and finish is pretty good. I do like the KVT system they used in this. It's not plastic. It is actually set in bronze, as you can see. Yeah, I just, you know, overall, it's got great action. It's got a great little flipper tab. I just think it's a really cool little knife. Cool copper, great blade steel for what it is. Great pocket clip. I think it's a good budget option. You know, right up there with the D2 CRKT Pillar. So, you know, it's a little bit more expensive, but if you, you know, if you really like this design, you didn't want to pay $200 for the 0770, go check this one out. I love it. You know, I think it's a great little option. So, you know, there you go, guys. So my next video, I've got to do a couple videos this week. Family's out of town, so I've got to pack some in. So, I've got I'm going to do my full review on the new T series that I just bought. I did the unboxing. I'm going to do the full review on that. And somewhere in there, I've got to figure it out, guys. I've just done so many giveaways. I've got to try and space it out a little bit more. But I'm going to give away the Para 3 Lightweight as well. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be doing a giveaway on both, you know, my YouTube and my Instagram account. I'm going to try and figure out how I can get those two to work. Follow me on my Instagram, guys. Subscribe to my channel down here. Hit the little bell so you can, you know, get updates for when I put out new videos. I promise you, I've got more content coming out this week. You know, I've been away for 2 weeks fishing, and you know, I've got a bunch of content about that. I'm going to disassemble some of the knives I took with me and talk about how well they did on the camping trip, and you know, we'll do some videos of that as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Check this guy out. You can check him out on Blade HQ. They still have him available. I looked this morning, so you know, check it out. They have him available on Blade HQ if you want a nice little budget option. Check this guy out. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and hope you watch the next one.